Where did that come from? The music is just
Oh,
playing in
it's
the
probably my
background.
outside. Oh no, it's the echo. It's the echo.
Uh, what's going on, everybody? There seems to be a lag right now. Everything good?
Internet.
Oh, I know. That was my mistake. What's up, everybody? I'm Damien. This
I'm
is
so
So
soon.
Soon. We are the framework. We bring reason and logic to the barbershop. Today we're starting off with part two to our top 10 women MCs list based on the framework. How are you today, my co-host, esteemed
I
co-host?
am I am well. I hate the Wi-Fi in my home. Shout out to Spectrum. I have no problem putting them on blast because I paid them enough money to do so and to expect a better service than what I get. But things could be much worse. So for that, I would say overall, I'm thankful. I'm happy to be doing yet another amazing episode of the framework with you, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I think we had a pretty good week. Some nice little milestones we hit. We had our first short form content video that hit 100 views in one day. Most of our content, I believe, has hit one view. Our YouTube short form reaction videos. We've been reacting to
Hmm.
different songs and artists. Check out our Locks versus Dipset reaction video. Check out our most recently dropped Nas Nobody featuring Miss Lauren Hill reaction video. Check out some of our earlier work with J. Cole. Just check out all the content, all the content. So right now we, feeling good about ourselves. We feeling ourselves a little bit. So recap of last week, right?
Yes.
We introduced the topic and we just talked to the audience. Wanted to get to know like what people were thinking about as it pertained to women MCs. What makes a great MC? One, because they are not separated by any characteristic or identifier. It's just a great MC is a great MC. But we are
Hmm.
focusing on the women right now because we know that there is a disparity in hip hop and in many aspects of society, if not every aspect of society. So we do what we do. We went through a list. We had a great guest, True Words, who came in and shared some information about some women MCs that he's listening to right now. Some of his like favorites that he has at the moment. Some people he requested to check out. He had a playlist that he came off. We had some great comments in the chat. There was some amazing people who brought some amazing insight into just uh, what we were discussing. We had a few names that we talked about, like some of the favorite hip hop artists, favorite MCs, and so we had a really good show.
Word. Indeed.
Hmm.
And so,
Anything you want to add? Yeah.
no, I mean, you hit everything on the nose. I was just going to dive into kind of, what we're going to get into today.
All right. Let them know.
So today we are presenting to you the framework's list of 15 women MCs who we think fit the criteria for this discussion before we ultimately determine our final top 10, rated from less to best. And we're also going to talk to y'all a little bit about the attributes that we'll be using to score these MCs. And we're going to also do some live scoring with you all. One of the favorite moments of our show is when We have y'all give your assessments of the entities, in this case, the women MCs, and tell us how you think they score in the different areas and attributes that we're using to score. So I'm really excited about today's show. It's as usual, we do a lot of homework and research preparing for these things, and there's nothing better to me than when our viewing audience, either during the show or after the show, sends us messages saying how much they appreciate our input and the time that we try to take to really, fleshing these things out. So I'm just looking forward to it. So I'm ready to dive in when you are.
Yeah, man. So just a reminder in the comments, let us know if we get it right. If after we review this list, if we don't have a name or an artist that you think should be up there, let us know. If you want to join the actual live show, you have to contact us directly, or you can message us in the chat and we can send you the actual link and you can be a part of the conversation live. So let us know what you want to do.
Right.
And whenever you're ready, so we got a list. We got 15 names, 15 women who all in their own right deserve all the accolades and all the respect and praise that they will be getting. So let's just get into this list.
Let's get into it. So, looking at our 15, and let me get my life right quick. Um, Give me one sec. All right, here we go. Here we go. Sorry, I don't know all the things that happen behind the scenes to make these shows work. So, let's start. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna dance around a little bit on this list. So,
Okay.
start in, and you'll see everything in the chat on the screen for those of y'all viewing the live show. So let's start right here. Forgive my lag internet service again. So we have Nicki Minaj.
Mm-hmm.
She has four studio albums from 2010 and 2014 was her first three. Her fourth came 4 years later in 2018. Three compilation albums, and then her career started, well, her unofficial career, but career started in '07, where she released three mixtapes between 2007 and 2009. Moving
Nice.
along, we have Eve. And sorry, I'm going to be probably talking a little faster than you see the stuff coming up on the screen. So Eve, she has four studio albums as well, starting in '99. Her first three came out between '99 and '02, which is a really fast turnaround time to put out that much content for any, particularly when you're like signed to a major label and they sometimes slow processes down for different reasons. So she dropped three albums between '99 and 2002. Her fourth didn't come until 11 years later. She did
Mm.
also make multiple appearances on the first three Rough Rider compilation projects. And
Yes, she
so
did.
Eve is on our list, of course. How could we not discuss Eve? So next up, we have the amazingly talented Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, who has six studio albums and one EP. She was just releasing content like nobody's business between 1997 and 2005, which is when the six albums came out. Her one EP, and for those of y'all who don't know the music terminology, an EP is slang for extended play that goes back to the days of like records. And but in this current world, EPs refer to any project that is less than 10 songs long. And so Missy made a comeback after over a decade hiatus with an EP in 2019. So of course Missy is on a list. Moving right along to our next entity, we have Queen Latifah, who brought to the world seven studio albums between '89 and '09. Well, her first three, excuse me, came between '89 and '93. Then she had a 5 year hiatus between, '93 and '98. Her last four was kind of scattered between 1998 and '09. Of course, we acknowledge All Hail the Queen and Black Rain as two of her like most amazing albums. Um, do me a favor, Damien. So the chat is already booming. Shout out to everybody who's joining the live. There's some things happening in the chat. Do you want to just kind of like chime in on them?
Yeah, yeah, I could read some of the comments right now if you want me to. So if we're
Because we
going
got a
back,
lot of people to go to. So
little couple of comments.
Yeah, yeah.
Our good friend of the show, Hepzibah, she's gonna let us know when we go wrong. So we have some people ready to check us.
Fact checker.
Donald is y'all better get it right. So we're on the hot seat, I guess, with those two. Um, Shout out to Emmanuel. Shout out to producer King Virtue. Larynx Jules wrote Missy Rules. Respect to Missy, Misdemeanor Elliott. Um, King Virtue said, "Did you know she wrote Aaliyah's first album?" And I'm pretty sure he's referring to Missy.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't know that. And we're getting some cheers from Emmanuel. You got this. You got this. Yes, we got this. We believe you. I didn't know. I knew she wrote for a lot of acts. I didn't know she wrote Aaliyah's whole first album. I thought there was a combination of writers. But that's a whole separate conversation. So in the chat, keep the comments coming. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you are interested, let us know if you want to join the live. I know by the end of this, somebody's gonna have something to say, and I want to hear it. We
Yeah,
appreciate the love, Lisa Honeybee. Your content is always entertaining and interesting. Um, so yeah, if
the
you're ready, yeah, go
Yeah, yeah,
ahead.
yeah. No, the reason why I asked you to hit the comments was to so behind the scenes to give myself time. But no, because I found King Virtue's comment to be fascinating. I feel like I've heard this before, but it's not something I've retained information on. So I guess that's another reason why they haven't done a versus with Missy yet, because she would just totally dominate between having, Aaliyah's catalog to play from and her own, if that's not enough for in and of itself. And I know she also has written for Tweet. We could go on and on and on. So, whatever.
Hmm.
But I just wanted to, lift up that comment real quick. All right. So moving on, we have for our fifth person on the list, we have Rhapsody, who career started in 2010. She has three studio albums: Wisdom, which received two Grammy nods in 2017, three EPs, and four mixtapes. And so, and Rhapsody is 2010 to current. She's still actively creating. I mentioned last week, for those who weren't tuned in, or if you were tuned in, that Damien and I had the esteemed pleasure of attending a Rhapsody concert right before the quarantine. We saw the concert in February. New York got shut down kind of early mid March. So and Rhapsody is definitely a super talent. She's really kind of starting to get her flowers, and so huge shouts to her. Moving right along, we have the legendary Miss Lauryn Hill, who only has one studio album. We are not counting the Unplugged as an album. So she has one studio album with like new content, or original content. And then she has two group albums, of course, with the Fugees, with Blunted on Reality and The Score. And if you don't already know, Damien alluded to this in the beginning of the show, but we've been putting out a lot of short form content on our YouTube page, just rating and reviewing different songs. Our most recent video that we dropped earlier this week was about the song Nobody by Nas featuring Miss Lauryn Hill, her first rap verse in over a decade. So if y'all have some time after the show, make sure y'all check out that. But she definitely makes it to the top 15 list. So, and welcome back, Miss Lauryn Hill. Moving right
Yeah.
along, oh, go ahead. Did you want to chime in real quick?
Yeah, I still don't. I was checking it out. I still don't know if that statement about that Virtue made, that Aaliyah, her entire first album was written by Missy. I'm not sure if that's true, because I'm pretty sure R. Kelly wrote a lot of songs as well. Her first album being Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. If there was
Mm-hmm.
an album that came out before that, please let me know in the chat. But at this point in time, I can't say that his statement isn't correct, but my assumption is that R. Kelly he was a producer, he was a writer, composer on that album as well. So maybe Missy wrote some of it, but not all of it. We don't know. Maybe she wrote different albums for Aaliyah, because I know she was writing for Aaliyah um, later in her career. Like there was more songs and things that Missy was getting credit for writing. But yeah.
According to Virtue in his earlier comment, he's saying that she wrote the entire first album before R. Kelly got into the mix of things. So I
Right.
don't have
So
any
yeah,
confirmation on that either, but yeah.
yeah. That we would need more content. You would probably need to provide some links or something that explains it, or like maybe even the track listing with the writers, because that would be a big claim. It would be a cool claim to add to all of Missy's accolades, but we don't want to just
Hmm.
run with it without.
So let's jump back into this list real quick,
Yeah,
because
let's
we still
go.
have a bit of a ways to go. I think we're at number 7 or 8. I've already lost count, but don't worry, we'll recap after. I just wanted to highlight some of their accolades. So moving right along, we have Little Kim, who had one group album to start her career off, which was Conspiracy with Junior Mafia in '95, followed by five studio albums from oh 06, excuse me, five studio albums, Hardcore being, her classic. From '96 to '05 is when she dropped her first four, and then her fifth came out in 2019. So there was a huge gap of time as far as studio albums, but she did drop four mixtapes between 2008 and 2016. Not very acclaimed, but the content was definitely there. So there's the idea that there was some drop off for Kim. Wasn't necessarily drop off, just the industry wasn't showing her love, and but she still was putting out content. So shouts to Kim, she's on the list. Moving right along, we have a SoSoon and Damien favorite. Doesn't mean that it's going to impact the final list. We're very logical, hence why we bring reason and logic to the barbershop. But it is Rod Digger, who has two studio albums, a huge gap between the release of those two, 1999 being the debut with Dirty Harriet, and then 2010 with her second album, excuse me, and then one mixtape, and then one compilation, of course, with Flip Mode Squad, which was sometime around that late 90s time period. Who we got? Who do I want to put y'all on to next? Let's go here, because this person came up many times, rightfully so, during last week's episode when we started to initially throw out who folks felt, should be in the discussion for a top all-time woman MC, and
Can
that
I
is
can I
Jean.
jump in? Can I jump
Surely,
in real quick before we hit Jean
jump in
Grey? So
really
King
quickly.
Virtue did confirm, he had it backwards. R. Kelly did the first album, Missy and Tim did One in a Million. That's what I thought as well. Um,
Okay.
Either way, Aaliyah is an amazing artist. Missy has contributed to so many artists' success and their classic music. But yeah,
Hmm.
thanks for the clarification. If you want to come jump on the show, let us know. We can send you the link. Apologies, please step back in, sir. Finish your
No, no
list.
worries.
Finish the list. This list is
All
great.
good.
This
All good.
information is great.
We got a few more to go. So we have Jean Grey, who, as I mentioned, came up many times last week, rightfully so. If you look on the screen, you see her accolades. She from 2002 to 2018 has released four studio albums, two compilations, 15 EPs, and six mixtapes. If my math is correct, that is a total of about 27 projects over the span of 16 years. What in the entire fuck? And you know what had me thinking? This is like one of the many gifts to not being a commercially signed artist. Like Gene has been signed to a lot of notable independent labels, but you just kind of get to work at your own pace a lot better when you're working indie. And I feel like somebody like Gene is another artist who we're gonna bring up in a moment, who I think has a similar kind of trajectory, but the grind was just constant, constant. You see passion, you see hard work, and she's a beast lyrically. You know what I'm saying? Like you had people at a time in the prime of her career, people like Talib, Most, Jay claiming Jean Grey as one of their favorite artists, not favorite female artists, favorite MCs, period.
Hmm.
Right? So Jean, of course, has to be in the conversation. So kudos to everybody who mentioned her, because she deserves all the revere, despite the fact that, like, on a commercial level, she's not known. I see the chat is going wild, but I'm not going to get into all that because I'm over here cooking. Speaking of the other artists who deserves that kind of revere because of the work that they've been putting in,
Mm-hmm.
Rock, also somebody who got mentioned a few times last week, also somebody who opened up for Rhapsody when Damien and I saw her perform back in 2020 last year. 14 studio albums.
Oh, I
I
can't
don't
hear
know
you.
what. No,
Okay,
I
got you,
paused.
got you.
I paused. I just was pausing to take a breath because that is insane. Like these two artists between Jean Grey and Cyrock, they have more content than a vast majority of the people on our list. And these are, and this, but this again speaks to the advantages that come with being an independent artist. It's a little harder of a journey, but the payoff, I'm sure, for most independent artists will say that it's worth it. So, shouts to Cyrock. Moving right along, we have Remy Ma, who only has one studio album, one compilation with Fat Joe that came out a few years ago, but she also has 5 mixtapes. So shouts to Remy. She's been on countless like singles, high quality singles, Annie Up remix,
Mm-hmm.
all the way up, just and so her name has always been in the conversation for very good reasons, despite having a limited catalog.
Word.
Moving right along, we're going to MC Light, who has 8 studio albums from 1988 to 2015. She dropped her first 6 between 88 and 98. That's a pretty good clip in 10 years. Almost, that's an album every year and a half, give or take. That's pretty good. I'm just averaging. I'm not suggesting that's when she dropped them. Her seventh came out in '03, so that was about a 6 year hiatus, 7 year hiatus. 5 year hiatus, excuse me, my math is terrible. And then she had another 12 year hiatus before she dropped her 8th album in 2015. But MC Light is one of our living legends. We have nothing but respect and revere for her, and so she's definitely on this list. I'm sure a lot of people in our chat are really excited to see MC Light make an appearance on the list, as she deserves to be. Moving right along, we have the Brat with 5 studio albums from '94 to excuse me, her first 4 were from '94 to 2003. Her fifth did not come until many years later, 2018. But as we know, the Brat is a radio show host. She has a reality show with her partner, so she's still in the mix, all that good stuff, all that good stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to put in a name that I already wrote. See, I got to do better at keeping this list. We only have a few to go. I hope y'all are, still bearing with us. We just want to make sure we give you these factoids and little tidbits so that you understand, why each of these artists are discussion worthy. So moving right along, we have Foxy Brown with 4 studio albums, Il Nana being her first, and I would say her classic, '96 to '03. Then she had the Firm compilation album. I love the Firm album. Let us know in the comments if you're familiar with the Firm. The album is the official title of it, which dropped in '97, right after her first album, her first solo album. But yeah, Foxy. How could you have any discussion about the best women MCs of all time without mentioning Foxy? And the final, right? Final person that we have for our list is none other than Lisa Left Eye Lopez, who did a lot of rapping on TLC's albums. I believe TLC had 3, 4. How many? You probably noticed better than I do. That's the one piece of information that I didn't have time to collect before the start of the show. But I believe TLC had like three group projects.
Yeah, I believe so. They had 3 group projects. I can look it up right now.
And then she also
TLC.
had some minimal offerings as a solo artist. But we know what she did as an MC, and so she definitely deserves to be in this discussion as well.
So
So
TLC has a total of 5 studio albums,
and she
but
was on how many of them before she
probably the
passed?
first 3. Probably Ooh on
Mhm.
TLC's tip, Crazy Sexy Cool, and Fan Mail. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure she's on those 3. 3D came out in 2002.
Mhm.
And there's one more that came out in 2017 called TLC. And
Mm-hmm.
as we know, she passed well before then.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you for that, sir. So
Yeah,
just
no
doing a
problem.
quick wait. Oh, you say yeah, no problem. So doing a quick recap of the 15 that are in this discussion in no particular order. We have Lauren Hill, Rhapsody, The Brat, Little Kim, Foxy Brown, MC Light, Queen Latifah, Nicki Minaj, Remy Ma, Missy Elliott, Rod Digger, Eve, Jean Grey, Cyrock, and Left Eye. So those are
So
our 15.
yeah, I would say let us know in the comments who you have in your top 10, who you have in your top five, who on that
Are,
list is your favorite MC. Like all of those questions, we want to know. We want to hear
do
what
you
people got to
have,
say.
sorry, Z, I don't mean to be cutting into what you're saying. I
All
was going to
good.
ask as an additional question, do you have somebody in your top 10 that's not in our 15?
Yeah, let us know if we got it right. Just hit us up in the chat. Do you think we got the list? Do you think we're missing one? Will you throw out the whole list and send us another 15? Um, that could happen too. There's a lot of, fans of artists like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, who are newer and have a very small amount of of smaller catalog.
Like
So
time in the game.
yeah, time in, and at the end of the day, you gotta, if we're gonna be using a framework that we're discussing to organize and talk about, things like longevity, catalog, lyrics, and things like that, it takes a while to build that up to get into that space. Oh my lord, the comments is going crazy. So
Yes.
I'm gonna go in the
Take
comments
us to
for a
the
little bit.
comments. I'm gonna put the list in the chat and
Yeah,
let it
you
stay
put
on
the
the screen
list
for a
in.
little bit while you go take us through the comments, please.
Yes, let's get to here we got. Oh boy, there's a. Do I want to even repeat all of these comments? Because some of these comments, I don't know if we should repeat
You
them.
don't
Look, the
gotta
comments
repeat
is the
all of them.
comments. The
You don't
comments
gotta
is the
repeat all of
comments.
them.
Do we need a ticker at the bottom to say the comment section is not the framework, or the views in the comments do not reflect the framework hosts? Like we might need a whole. We need a lawyer for these comments. We're gonna get sued at some point. Any lawyers out there, just hit us up because we trying not to get sued. All right, so just let us know. All good God. Somebody is saying kick Foxy off the list. Somebody saying kick Remy off the list. Um, somebody said you drinking heavy. Okay, they're just going back and forth. Yep, that kick Foxy juice. So Donald Tillman wrote, "Sis, you drinking heavy." Speaking to Dawn Tillman, and she wrote, "Yes, that Kick Foxy juice." So she's drinking on she's smoking on a Kick Foxy pack, I guess. If you kick Foxy, you kicking Kim first. Here we go. There's the Kim and Foxy back and forth. There's a request to show the list in the comments, and I believe my esteemed co-host is up there. There's some Roxanne. Roxanne. So Roxanne Shante, uh, she didn't make the list, but she was in there. Are there any thoughts, any comments, anybody? What do y'all think about Roxanne Shante? Do y'all think she should be in this top 15? And if she should, who should we remove? Shout out to Natasha Cuffey for putting that in the comments. And I'm gonna do a little bit of research on Roxanne Shante to make sure that I am giving y'all the right information. Any comments?
Well,
Any comments? Yeah.
I have comments. So we've
Oh,
done our first round of pre-listening,
right.
and so Roxanne Shante did come up in the discussion,
Mm-hmm.
but based on the initial listening of the catalog, I would put it to y'all like this:
She has
the
two
impact.
studio albums.
The hold that for 1 second. Let me just say this:
Mm-hmm.
the impact of what Roxanne Shante represents in hip hop culture is undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
The catalog doesn't hold up to the impact. And so we wanted to really, the 15 reflect people who we think can. Roxanne Shante, let me say this: Roxanne Shante deserves to be in the conversation. My question to everybody who's viewing, do you think she would make the top 10 list?
Mm. And if
Because
she would, why?
that's the bottom line at the end of the day. If you
Mm.
can vouch for her catalog so much so that you think she would make the top 10 of all of women MCs of all time, and we're going to get an attributes. And so maybe it's possible that when we announce the attributes, let me put the 15 in the chat. It's possible that when we announce the attributes, that folks might stick if they believe that she can make the top 10. They might stick with that opinion. They might change opinions, but based on her catalog, do you
Mm-hmm.
think she would be in the final discussion for top 10 all-time women MCs?
Mm.
I leave it to you. You were saying based on your research.
So based on my research, she has two albums. One in 1989 called Roxanne Shante. And her second album, The Bitch Is Back, released in 1992 on Cold Chillin' Records. So based on those albums, we gave it a strong listen, and the album had some highlights and some lowlights. But in terms of catalog, does she have enough? Does she have enough high quality records? And then in areas of longevity, areas of aesthetic, like there may not be, um, she may not measure up based on the framework's scoring system as well as the attributes. King Virtue says she's not a top 10, but she's super influential. And I have to echo what my co-host So Soon said. Yes, her impact on
Impact.
hip hop is
Yep.
undeniable. And honestly, that phrase undeniable, we use it because in our scoring system, we actually use that word undeniable to mean 10 on a scale
Mhm.
of 1 to 10. So
Mhm.
based on the list that's in the chat, I'm gonna put it back up. Let everybody see the list. There's only 14.
I put MC Light. I made a mistake in this because I'm like typing while talking. So please don't take that as a snipe to MC Light.
MC Light is
Um,
number 15. Gotcha.
yes.
So all good, all good. Let's so now,
At some point, I just want to say I want to say
yeah, go
something
ahead.
very important that's relevant to this. It's like kind of off subject, but it's very relevant to this. I
Go ahead.
can't tell y'all, and I say this every week, but I can't tell y'all how much we appreciate y'all rocking with us because I already have the vision, and if you know that like this idea of the framework is from Damien's brain, and he was kind enough to bring me in because he's some these conversations, these dialogues alongside of him. Um, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. I already have visions of like this is our early beginnings. We are like one full year in. We started last year during the pandemic, and now we're evolving to a new platform, and we're about a year in doing this, right? And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because as we continue to evolve, we'll have social media people, we'll have producers behind the scenes who are handling camera, who are handling graphics and all the different things. But right now, as a team of two, we are doing everything, all the listening, all the research, all the graphics, making sure y'all get the information that y'all can see it and digest it. And so when we make a mistake and y'all continue to rock with us, we just appreciate your support. I just wanted to like take a moment aside from all the like show and just like tell you how genuinely appreciated it is. So I'm sorry for
Yeah,
that rant, but
definitely.
I feel it. Like, and I'm not even trying to crack jokes. I genuinely feel the love and appreciation. So just wanted to say
Nah,
that.
nah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we're gonna keep going as Damon said. So here's the list. Um, Now, based on the 15, we have to introduce two things to y'all so we can make sure
Mhm.
everybody's on the same page. We have a scoring system that we use that is interactive, so everybody can participate in the scoring. Um,
Mhm.
as well as the attributes that come from a list of various attributes that can be used to design frameworks, but we
Mhm.
try to find the most fitting and poignant ones. Queen still suck though. All right. The most fitting and poignant ones that will fit whatever the topic is. So one of our catchphrases is you bring the topic, we bring the framework. So if you have a topic you
Right.
want us to talk about, let us know. We can work on it. It takes time, so we can't be like next week we're gonna do this. We are in the middle of a framework right now, but I want to start with just the scoring system, which is very simple. It's something that one scale of 1 to 10, so it's not a difficult thing to understand. It's literally um, 10 is what we consider undeniable, which is like some of the best work, some of the best of the best, uh, whatever, whatever word you want to use.
Whatever the
Undeniable is it?
entity is.
Yeah, and whatever the topic is, it is of the best of that quality or the best of that attribute.
Right.
Um, 9 is basically close to undeniable. It's like it's right there. We don't do 9.5. We only do whole numbers at the framework. So it's either a 10 or it's a 9. We gotta score it that way. But it's close to undeniable. So we give that to those who are like right there. And we're not saying they're missing anything, but they might have done not have done that thing that just pushes them over the edge. We have 8, which we consider legendary. Um, 8 is considered legendary. What else we got? I'm trying to think right now. I got 8, which is legendary. Basically, we use the number 8 to describe anything in hip hop that has just that feel, that staying power, that longevity, those that like not the top, not the attribute, but just has that legendary status, and it's usually of a legendary quality. And it's like very good, which is like 9 is close to undeniable, very, very good. 7 is good overall. It's kind of like missing the mark on a few things. Usually we can easily point them out, like, oh, it's missing this over here, missing that over that. It's not bad, but it's not up there legendary status and things like that. 6 is just slightly above average. 5 is average. 4 is basically trash. And like, this ain't it. It's missing the mark on several things, which is a little bit different than the 7. The 3 is basically legendary trash. It's like this is the whack of the whack. Number if a 2 is like, all right, we don't even want to call you trash because trash is one thing, but you're worse than that. You're booty water. Um, 1 is just the undeniably bad, not up for debate. It's the opposite of undeniably good. And more than likely, you won't see many things that we bring to the framework getting scores like 1s and 2s and 3s because we're here to celebrate the best of hip hop. When we come with these lists, we come with these ideas, we're trying to find out who was the top. So more than likely, there, if we find some people who get those 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, they probably didn't make the top 10. That's all we'll say. And if somebody makes the top 10 with like a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or a 5, that is something. that when that happens, so we need to make sure we make a big note of that and we talk about what the hell how did that happen? That's going to be a whole episode in and of itself. How
Right.
did this person get a 4 in one category out of 6 or 7 and still make the top 10? They must have been, maybe they paid us off. We don't know. We accept bribes. Gonna be in a
So so we have an understanding of the rating system that this is not one of those things that are up for discussion. But what we do want to talk to y'all about, and y'all can, give us some thoughts about this. I want to reveal to everybody the attributes that we are using to score this thing, this discussion of women MCs. I'm sorry, by the way, that I walked off camera today. It's just an interesting day. My headphones died on me. I tried to get the second pair, and whatever. Here we are. So here are the list of 7 attributes in the chat. I'm gonna highlight it on the screen. It's a lot of words, so I'm just gonna read through it. The first definition is lyrics, which is words on the page slash the content. The second is impact. So like, if you are an artist who has impact, that means you have we're looking at your overall influence of music, influence on the community, the world. Have you pushed boundaries? We want to know these kind of things. Aesthetic, number 3, that's elements of artistic expression, which could be including but not limited to visuals, music videos, style, stage presence, amongst others. Number 4 is catalog, which is the quality of the entire music collection, and timeless records, where maybe you will feature on a record that is considered a classic. That's something we would want to factor in for your score on catalog. Consistency, which is key, which is why when you heard me listing the 15 artists, I talked about like when they started, if there were gaps in the time that they released content, etc., etc. Consistency, the release of quality music over a long period of time. You dropping 27 projects over a 16-year career, that's consistency like a motherfucker. We still need to want to go back and respect and make sure that that's 16 projects with quality, but
Right.
that is consistent. Like if you're just looking at the release of content, that is consistency. Originality, unique qualities such as, again, not limited to creativity, conceptual ability, etc. And the final attribute would be versatility, which is a variety of aspects of hip hop music, such as flows, content, range. When we say content, we're thinking about like if you can talk about diverse subject matter, if you know how to go double time flow, if you know how to sound as fire on a trap beat as you can on a boom bap beat as you can on an R&B beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so these are the 7 attributes. Please let us know if you think all of these attributes are necessary to score this, if you think something's missing, if you think we need to omit one attribute. And then we want to spend a little bit of time doing some live scoring of one of these artists just to get a pulse of what y'all think.
Yes. Thank you for reading all of that off. I tried to throw it in the chat and put it up there so people can see the different attributes themselves, read it. This is how we are ranking. These are short form definitions. We could go much deeper into the definitions, but we want to make sure y'all are following along with us. Anything we're missing, let us know. Anything that stood out to you. Right now, we would like to get into some live scoring. Am I correct?
You are
So
correct,
let's
right?
see. We have some artists in mind, and we want to bring these artists up to the audience. Some of the more popular, well-known artists, so we can all have an understanding of them. We're not going to ask people to score people that they don't know, that they may not have enough information on. We want to make sure that people are comfortable in how they're ranking and scoring any of the artists that we bring up on the framework, especially when we do live scoring. Everybody can take their time to go back and do some research and do some listening and then come with their scores another day, another episode. But we like to make sure when we're doing live scoring, we want to make sure that the audience can comfortably score these artists in those areas. So we had 3 names: Little Kim, Foxy Brown, Nicki Minaj. You tell us who you want to score. Let us know who you feel you can score their entire list of attributes, those 7 that we mentioned earlier. So we're going to be scoring one of these artists on a scale of 1 to 10 in each area. And if we get it done and have enough time, we could do another one. So let us know what y'all think in the comments. If you had the chance to score somebody so soon, who would you want to score first? Just asking, doesn't mean that's what we're going to do.
From the 3 that we put?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure that I understand the question.
Oh, yeah. From the 3 we put.
I'd like to score Foxy.
Okay. Now I have a question. Of the three that's there right now, who would you most want to see in concert?
In their prime, right?
Yeah, let's say in their prime. Who would you want to most see in concert?
I'm gonna say Foxy.
Oh wow. Okay.
Now I want to be clear. You didn't ask the question of questions, but I'm gonna put it out there because I like to do this from time. Listen, hear me out. I like to do this from time to time because I think it's important that I think when we do this, the audience is able to understand the differentiation between what we as individuals who contribute to the work of the framework do and feel, what we feel, Damien feels, what SoSoon feels, versus what the framework feels. And that's why we always emphasizing we bring reason and logic to the barbershop, right? My favorite of the three that we are putting out there to see who folks want to live score is Kim. I think Foxy's a better MC, and I'm willing to bet she in her prime was a better performer than Kim and Nikki.
Oh wow. Wow. That's
But
a
my favorite
hot
is Kim.
take.
So
Hot take.
we don't. The reason why the framework exists is because people are not willing and able to make those distinctions between, okay, this might be my favorite, that doesn't necessarily make them the best. I said earlier when I mentioned Rod Zig as one of the 15, she is both of our favorite women MCs, right? Because we have these conversations behind the scenes all the time. That's not gonna play a role in where she scores on the list. You know what I'm saying?
It can't. That wouldn't be right.
It defeats it. Then we're not doing our job of bringing reason and logic to the discussion, or in this case, the barbershop, if we're just choosing our favorites, because that's what we're trying to fight against. Like literally, the whole idea of the framework is you go to the barbershop and everybody's going back and forth about the ping pong ball is flying. And by the end, it's usually whoever's the funniest and or who has the loudest voice. That's really where it ends versus really taking some time to discuss the thing. So that's why I wanted to make that differentiation. So if you're asking me who I want to see perform live, I don't know that Kim was. I've never seen any of these three artists perform live, but I'd be willing to bet that Foxy in her prime was the best.
Got that. Look, I respect the hot takes. Hot takes. We're gonna have some more of those hot takes too. You can ask me some questions. You know me. Let's get it going. All right. So I wanted to address some of the chat real quick. We had 2 votes in the beginning for Kim. Then we had Bo Avery came out and just said, how is Rhapsody and the Brat ahead of Missy Elliott? So we want to make sure everybody's aware. The list is not in any particular order. We have not done the top 10 yet. We have not scored anybody. This is the conversation, but that's a question that might come up if Rhapsody scores ahead of any of them. So some people might say, yo, how is that possible? It's like, well, this is the framework. You got to follow along. You got to be a part of it. We got another vote for Kim. Donald wants to do Kim so Dawn can get off the chat. He's saying she tripping. Damon is saying he wants to do Black Lil Kim, which is a specific version of out here. Oh my God. There's the queens and not queens back and forth going on. To turn off chat. Oh my God. Missy was live dope too. Yes, agreed. Missy is fire live. So out of the 3, you said you'd like to see Foxy. Of those 3, my favorite MC I would say is Foxy. I think she had harder hitting bars in an overall, like she might even had a little bit more subject matter, which is kind of interesting when you listen to her albums and like how she could also do like what I would consider more natural Caribbean, Jamaican reggae voices, sounds, and things like that. So Trini, I do believe she is Trini. But I'm just saying that the patois.
But she also had more reflective records too.
I just said more subject matter content. Yeah. I would probably prefer Foxy. We have some more comments. Let's get to the comments. So Damon is ready to go. Damon, do you feel like coming in and joining us and having this conversation? Let us know in the comments, because I feel like you have some comments about these 3 artists particularly. And if you do, let me know. I will let you in. You can come and speak, and then we're gonna do some live scoring. We're not gonna sit and talk, but we got to get to the live score. But this is fun. I'm ready to hear what people got to say on some of these.
We should do some. We should start live scoring, and then let's see if Damon says he's down to join. And if I know he has a show after this, shout to him and his team at 9 p.m. This show's coming on. But let's do some live scoring and see if we bring Damon in after the live scoring.
Let's do it.
So I can take this, and so you tell me based on the chat who you think
we got to do Kim.
Kim?
We got to do Kim. It was at least 3 or 4 that said Kim, and we only had about 5. So now the opportunity is to talk about Kim.
For Foxy. Okay, cool.
So you can do the attribute, and I'll monitor the chat for scores. So let's do this.
Fun, man. This is fun, man. It's so good to be back. I just wanted to point that out. I know we're like 3 weeks into, being back, but I'm enjoying this. All right. Lyrics.
Mhm.
Once again, the definition of lyrics, you'll see it on the screen in a second. We define lyrics as words on the page, content. How do you all, please put it in the chat, how do you score Little Kim's lyrics throughout her career? King Virtue mentioned in the chat, her verse on Quiet Storm remix, she bodied. Of course, Hardcore was her first album, which I would say was, it might be a classic, but I definitely say close to a classic, if not a classic, right? Based on, certain standards. She also had a couple of other fire records. She's been on a lot of people's songs, been featured on a lot of people's songs, high quality songs. What are we scoring Kim for lyrics?
So we got words on the page, content. We got 1 vote, a 10 for Lil Kim. Any other thoughts on Kim as a lyricist? What are we giving them? Yes, that Quiet Storm verse is classic. It is one of the biggest hip hop songs and verses in hip hop. Everybody knows it. Okay, we got 2, 3, 4 10s for Lil Kim. There's 4 10s for Lil Kim in lyrics. Now I got a question. There are rumors, and we don't want to deal with speculation, but these are not speculation. They're really strong. Tony INC, what's up? Shout out. There's another 10. Now, if an artist, we have a 7. If an artist has been known to have ghostwriters, does that drop the score? Does that drop the score? Let us know in the chat. We need to know if you have ghostwriters, if you have people who've written verses for you, not changed the word, written verses for you. How does that change the score? Does it affect the score at all? If you say it doesn't, then it doesn't. If you say it does, then it does. Let's talk.
What we have 6 attributes. We have 6 attributes to score. But I since you put it out there, I want to ask you, how do you feel the potential of ghostwriting impacts the score?
Damon said he thinks the Tillman family is all haters, and you are correct, sir. You are correct, sir. Hate. Nah. So I'm getting some yeses in the comments, and even Hepzibah said yes, who told us she would tell us if we soon as we go astray. We got our fact checkers. We got people gonna let us know in these comments. Tell us, like, kick rocks. We got 7. Now we got 7s and 8s. Now we got Kim is a 6, 7 at best. No, you still have to be able to spit. I mean, I can spit right now, but I don't have a trash or a sink near me. But yeah, corny joke. Boom, boom. But drop the score. Ooh. Now we have a Foxy and Kim both have written verses for them, so it cancels that convo out. There are 15 names on this list, sir. So if we got to talk about all 15, but I respect it. And I don't think those are the only 2 that will come up for, actually. Then we have Emmanuel said it does because it's not their word. So I take a few points off of that. Word, they both had writers. Now, we do know that other artists on this list has had writers too. So, or they've been known to have writers, and it's been heavily debated, heavily discussed. So I don't want to ignore something that is not just a rumor that we read one time on Bleacher Report or something else. So still yes, a 10. Virtue, I need to know why. So you're not taking points off for people as a lyricist. You're not taking points off if somebody has writers. I want to know why. People are saying taking points off. Now the question is, how many points do we take off? Because we could.
Good question.
We could take 2 or 3 points off. I don't think we should take more than 2 or 3 points off. But we could say, look, if you ain't writing it, we taking half. Like Eddie Murphy said, we coming for half of that. So
we got a lot of scores for Kim and a lot of thoughts about this. And so great choice of somebody to score to y'all. Thank y'all as always. Y'all help keep this framework engine rolling. Let's move on to the next attribute because we still got 6 more to go. So the next one we're looking at is impact, which we define as, like I said earlier, overall influence of and on music, the community, the world, and somebody who's pushing boundaries. What do we say to Kim's pushing boundaries? What do you think about the boundaries that Kim pushed, Damien?
If you ask me, and I'm just giving my opinion,
I'm asking you.
Kim had one of the biggest impacts on hip hop, not just for women, but hip hop, rap altogether.
Period.
So her impact is undeniable. I couldn't argue anything less than a 10. Because of just her music, how she helped change the game, her involvement in Junior Mafia, career with Biggie at Bad Boy. She's still an icon decades later. People are, and if we want to be honest, how many artists have been influenced by her, male and female, as well as copied her style, as well as her aesthetic? That is a lot of, you know, he got his. There's a lot of that. People are mimicking, and they say, mimicry is the purest form of flattery. Whatever it is, it ain't. Let's stop that.
Yeah.
Because we need to let people know, like, be yourself. What about that?
Right.
That might be the greatest. That might be the greatest form of flattery, is letting me be me, and you being you, and us appreciating each other.
When I think of a poet that Damien Tillman sounds like, I think of Damien Tillman.
Thank you.
That's why he is my friend and why I'm his co-host. So
yeah, no, when I listen to your music, I know it's you. I can call it out, and I don't go around and I'm like, oh, this sounds like this, that sounds like that. I don't get that. And
apparently, I'm the old Kanye, according to many people. I don't know if that's. I guess that's good because that's the Kanye that we all love. But whatever. That's a conversation.
But if you write all your stuff, we're gonna leave it alone.
King Virtue writes 90% of my lyrics. You heard it here first.
Oh, King does?
He does not.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, do you make 90% of his beats? Did you make the intro and outro beat to the framework? All right, yo, we running out of time. Let's stop playing. So Tony INC, for me, if she did have some written for her, I'd drop it to 8, 9, depending on how many were written. And we would never be able to fully verify that, even though that having writers is something that does stick. A lot of artists do, but when we talk about how we score them on their lyrics and their lyrical ability, I would say that is important. Sean Coggins, the president has a ghostwriter and is still the president. So why would it be Yo, you the man for this. Oh my God. But the thing is, we're not talking about performance. We're not talking about recitation. We're talking about hip hop, which hip hop is built on the creativity and artistry of the person who is performing the lyrics. What they created. Biting was a taboo in hip hop since it was instilled. So I want to keep that.
I want to keep that.
Yeah.
No snitching was a taboo in the streets or was a real thing in the streets for a long time before it, became glamorized. So I almost look at the two as the same.
Wait a minute. Here we go. Emmanuel is on fire today. Respect. The president is no MC.
Yeah, killing it. She's killing it.
Facts. That's a fact. Sean, if you could come back from that, you the man. But I don't know how you come back from that one. But I hope you try, because the comments is crazy. All right, so we giving Little Kim a 10. Everybody threw 10 in there for her impact. There was a comment from Tony INC that I want to talk about. Drop it to an 8, 9, depending on how many were written. We wouldn't be able to identify that. We wouldn't be able to confirm that. But I would say if you would only drop it 1 or 2 points, that's interesting. I'd like to hear more about that. Please speak on it if you get the chance. I would say, all right, last comment. She is the GOAT. Nicki and Cardi B copied Kim with the pink theme cover and her style. Those are two of, I think, many who may have been copying and influenced by. Let's say influenced respectfully, and copied respectfully, because it's both of those. But yeah, so all right, we scored her on her impact. Is there anything else? The aesthetic. Let's go to aesthetic.
We are
What is
here.
her
I had it
aesthetic?
queued up and ready.
Cause you're the man.
So again, aesthetic is elements of artistic expression, visuals such as visuals, music videos, style, stage presence, not limited to that. So what do y'all say for Little Kim on aesthetic?
Yeah, and the way they sound is a part of the aesthetic. So sometimes Kim's voice is undeniable. Like you could every track, you love the way she sounds. Let's be honest. The artistic expression is there. You know, we all love Black Kim, as Damon said. We love Lil Kim. However, I have whatever version of Little Kim you think is out there, because even watching a video is recently as Summer Jam, I think, and or another video recently where she's out there, she's moving on stage, and I'm just like, yo, that's Lil Kim. You know what I'm saying? Like I just, it's undeniable.
Yes,
Aesthetic.
I don't mean to
Yeah.
cut you off, but somebody, so Emmanuel gave it an okay. You did it. You see, we be some weeks. I swear we just be like using the same mind, like symbiotic, some whatever. You Emmanuel mentioned a 9, but right before she threw that 9 in the chat, Albert Avery. What a motherfucking question. Is writing the same as someone ghostwriting? What do you think about that, Damien?
It is not the same, and we running over time. It's not the same.
I know.
But biting, oh my God. Did you just steal somebody's sound, their flow, their song, their lyrics? Come on. That's terrible. That's a no. I don't think there's a way around that. Don't bite somebody's lines and lyrics and then expect to get any respect. And if people are giving you respect for doing it, they don't deserve respect. That's, to me, that's
especially if they're aware that it's happening.
And it's a difference between like somebody using a line from one of their favorite artists and saying shout out to Snoop. If you say,
right,
they're paying homage. But if you're biting somebody's lines and just stealing it, nah, that's very different.
Right.
And so biting is usually taking somebody's lyrics and acting like it's your own. Paying homage to somebody, if you that I'm a hustler line that Jay-Z had in Dirt Off Your Shoulder. Yeah, I think so. I'm a hustler, homie. You know how many times they flipped that into a chorus, and then how many rappers called themselves hustlers for the next 7 to 10 years? It's just like, that's a line. They're not biting Jay-Z in that moment. But if there's there's something going on in battle rap and hip hop right now where an artist was being called out for almost taking line for line another rapper's freestyle decade or two before. So there's some stuff. So I would say they are different, but they're both, in my opinion, egregious.
In hip hop, especially.
Yes.
It's just a different set of rules in hip hop, and we have to acknowledge that.
And we have to acknowledge it. Thank you for saying that, because so many people, I think, like to skirt the rules when it works for them. And that's not what we're doing here at the Framework. That's why we created the system.
Right.
We got some more comments. We got a 9. We got some 10s for her aesthetic. Oh, I'm wondering why the 9 biting is a hell nah. Yes. Emmanuel's on.
Yeah,
it is. It's disrespectful.
We're gonna have to bring Emmanuel into the Framework soon, like, because she's got some really valid thoughts on this.
Yeah,
she is using the Framework.
Yes, she is. Respect to you. Oh, Jay wrote Still Dre, including Snoop's rhymes. Where's that same energy for that?
We got energy and all the smoke for that. Trust.
This is a women's MC topic, though, so we have to.
when it's time for that, we got all the smoke and thoughts for that. That doesn't take away from the overall impact and whatever. And that's the same thing we're saying for Kim, Foxy, with the thought that there is some credits to their writing catalogs that were not entirely theirs. Like, they're in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But you can't. So there are artists on this list. There are hip hop. There are MCs who have written 100% of their lyrics, and because of proximity, because they didn't have the relationship with some of the top all-time greatest, didn't have those. Maybe they wouldn't have accepted those lyrics from those top all-time greatest, even if they had that access to them. But there are MCs who are writing their own lyrics and not getting credit for that. So what about that? That's what I would say
Yeah,
to
yeah.
that. So we're
There's a
not
lot. There's a
entirely
lot.
penalizing Kim, Foxy, anybody who's on this list for having ghostwriters. But it's not like Damien said earlier, we're not dropping them a whole 5 points in an attribute because
Not
somebody
yet.
else contributed to it. But it does need to be taken into account because this culture, from the essence, even till now, 40, almost 50 years later, at its core is about authenticity, about your own style, your own lyrics. That hasn't changed. That just hasn't changed. So we have to acknowledge that.
Respect. I can't disagree with you. Aesthetic for Tim. We got a bunch of Tims. So yeah, there's still some more questions, but let's finish up with the scoring. So what's the next attribute? We're 3 down. We got a
Catalog.
catalog. Little Kim's catalog. Basically the quality of the entire music collection and the amount of timeless records plays an important part. If you drop 500 songs, not every song is going to be a 10. Let's just be honest.
Right.
That's okay. But if 50 of those 500 songs are timeless classics that you can't undeny, that says something about your ability to just create high quality music.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, I try not to jump back into the comments, but let's get some scores on catalog for Little Kim.
And
does she have classic albums?
Listen, so as those scores are coming in, I just want to help people consider how they're scoring. And as I said earlier, Little Kim has one group album with Junior Mafia with The Conspiracy, which was her debut essentially, which was in '95. Her debut solo album came out a year later with Hardcore in '96. She has a total of 5 studio albums and 4 mixtapes, with her career spanning at this point over 25 years. She still does live concerts and live performances. She hasn't put out a project since 2016. I think she's been a part of a song here or there. Sorry for the background noise. That's why, when you grow, you don't have to worry about those kind of things when it's studio, but so yeah, a total of 4 mixtapes, 5 studio albums, and 1 group album that she played a significant role on. Looking really quickly at the Junior Mafia album, because you can't just sneeze on that album. Nobody's really talking about the album, right? But when you think about some of the records that came from it, Get Money, Players Anthem, I Need You Tonight, and Crush on You. What do we? And that's just a compilation album, right? Some of those are I think one of those might transcend hip hop, but all of them definitely are hip hop classics from that mid '90s era.
Right. So we got some scores in. We got some 10s, some 9s, some 10s and 9s. Then King Virtue, he dropped a couple of things in the chat. Lady Marmalade, Crush on You, Magic Stick, Light Us Up, The Jump Off. And we're not even talking about the Benjamins, the Quiet Storm remix that was mentioned earlier. So she has a catalog, a great one. And her catalog will go up against a few people, and people are talking about her versus Nicki Minaj in a versus, and that's going to be an interesting one if it ever happens.
Sorry, I lost you for a second, so I didn't realize we were still talking. But I do want to say this really quick. My signal sucks, so it's me, probably not you. When the Lox versus Dipset versus came out, which if y'all haven't already seen it, go check out videos. Shouts to everybody who has. It's already over 100 views, and we dropped it 2 weeks after the verses. So that's still, we're really excited and appreciate those y'all who've taken time to watch, even if only a snippet of it. When that verses hit, we were talking about the possibility of either entities bringing out features. Can I safely speak for both of us?
Sure,
when
do your
I
thing.
say that we were really truly hoping that the Lox brought out Kim for All About the Benjamins and possibly Money, Power, Respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was only the chorus on Money, Power, Respect, but listen, for what it's worth, talking about the difference between ghostwriting, biting, and acknowledgement, I was just working on my book last night, which is basically the footnotes for my album and the annotations to the lyrics of my album dropping next month. And the song I was working on is called NPR, which is an acronym for Money, Power, Respect. And I took the Kim lyrics from the chorus. It's the key to life. what you need in life. So, you know, if you want to talk about impact, Kim had an impact on me. So, you know, just throwing it out there.
Nah, son, you biting, you bite. Nah, I'm joking. All right, let's keep. Nah, that's fire. No, that's a crazy flip of a classic song.
Right.
So let's continue with the scoring. We got
Yeah.
another 9. What's the next attribute?
The next attribute is consistency, which again is the release of quality music over a long period of time. So again, just
Let me clarify. When we
Sorry.
say long period of time, it doesn't mean over 40 years or 30 years or 20 years, but we talk about usually the primes of an artist. So if an artist have a 6 to 8 year prime but they drop an album a decade later, we don't want to consider that inconsistent. In their prime, where are they dropping music? Now, if they drop one album and then we don't see them for 7 years, that's a very different thing than somebody who dropped every year or every other year for a consistency of 6 to 8 years. That's a prime, that's a consistency. So we don't want to be like, well, this person dropped in 98 and then they dropped in 2016 and then they had a gap, and it's like, oh, that's terrible. It's like, no, we're gonna focus mostly on the prime years of most artists.
Now, if you don't mind me adding to that, we can't entirely exclude the entire.
Oh yeah, we're not.
You know, however, we do want to put primary emphasis on the, as Damien already said, the prime of the career. And again, if we're looking at Kim's prime, Junior Mafia album with 4, at least hip hop classics. I'm sure one of them we could talk about extending beyond just hip hop. Right? That was 95. 96 is hardcore, and we know, hopefully we know what that did. If not, talk to us in the comments and we can tell you, or just, you know, go take a listen to it. Do like a A&R listen, as I like to call them. 30 seconds each track, see what you thought, you know, see if you remember things. No Time, Queen Bitch, you know, whatever. It goes on and on. Big Mama Thing, Notorious KIM 4 years later. La Bella Mafia in 03, The Naked Truth in 05. I would say that her prime was between that 95 and 05-ish time, because she was also on a lot of other singles and other artists' records. King Virtue mentioned several of them in this chat. So you have to consider the impact. We're not talking about impact, but you have to consider what it meant for her catalog to be on these top tier records that were not even on her project. Ladies Night, Magic Stick, Quiet Storm remix, just, you know, whatever. We did this already. So just want to make sure folks are taking these factors into consideration when we look at consistency. And I already see we got 4 10s and 9. I think y'all are seeing what it is. So cool. Love it, love it, love it. Any thoughts from you, Damien? Or do you want to just move
No,
on?
I'm sitting there I'm listening to the audience, I'm watching, reading comments, and I'm ready to finish up the scoring. We got what, 1 or 2 more?
2 more. So the next one is originality, which we define on the framework as unique qualities, such as but not limited to creativity, conceptual ability. So we talked earlier.
You want me to speak on that?
Yeah. Go for it.
I got you. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Kim's originality? She did spearhead certain things in hip hop that are popular right now. That you know, visually, the aesthetically, she is the origin of a lot of things that we see in hip hop. She also has unique qualities of her voice. Some of her sound is very unique, like you've never heard it before that. Kim's originality, even just the way she flowed, the way she you know, what do y'all think? So we got some scores and we got 4 10s off rip. What are your thoughts on, like, even just the conceptual ability on some of her songs, albums? What do you think? We got another 10. That's 5. So I think the audience is in agreement. We got 5 off rip, straight 10s.
Kim, a lot of a lot of Kim's style was this kind of mafioso vibe that was starting to really take shape in hip hop. It started in the 80s. Let's not ignore the artists who were doing that back from the 80s, but it really started to hit heavy in the 90s with artists like Kim, Jay, Big, The Firm as a group, you know, and so on and so forth. We could go on for days about artists who really took that to that level. Nas even. And there's some originality to it. There's those moments where, for me, those artists who really try to make it sound like it was their lived experience versus the concept of it. So these
Mm-hmm.
are things worth considering. But the thing for me that stands out for Kim when I think of originality is the sex appeal, and she took it to like 20, right? And that's part of it. And that's part industry thing. It was a gift and a curse for her career because you, as women artists, some of the challenges is that if they don't fit that box, a lot of women MCs who could have and should have been having longer careers didn't. But you still can't deny that that kind of sex appeal thing for women MCs, she is the alpha.
Yeah, I would say I'm with you on that. And there were other MCs who did show their sex appeal and stuff, but I think she took it to a brand new level. And that's important because we're never going to be able to say somebody was the like all, not everybody's always going to be this is the first time this ever happened in music or hip hop or anything like that. But we want to make sure if you're influenced as we all are, you take that influence and do something new with it. You
Right,
want it to be yours. You don't want
right,
it to be like, you don't want it to be a copy.
right.
But
I'm on it. I
I'm
already know
ready
what you're going to
to
say before you say it.
I'm ready to move on to the last content. The versatility, a
Yes.
variety of aspects of hip hop music. So, Little Kim, we want to talk about her flow, the variety of her content, the
Mm-hmm.
variety of the range. Can she do a few different flows? Can she rhyme fast, slow? Can she do multisyllabic type joints where she's hitting you with just crazy bars?
Mm-hmm.
Can she just rap about something that's off color topic or just something unexpected. Like,
Right.
shout out to Biz Markie who recently passed. Rest in peace. He made a song called Picking Boogers, which is just one of the weirdest concepts you could have in hip hop. But that shows a versatility. You know what I mean? Because he
Can I,
also did Just a Friend, but he also had other music. So go ahead, go ahead. You want to speak on
this
it?
is, I don't want to veer off too far. Sometimes we do that. We're both guilty of it.
Yeah.
I think that hip hop is quite possibly one of the only genres of music where you could do a song like Picking Boogers and it fits into the overall what's acceptable versus what is not. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not going to sit here and act like I am well versed on many genres of music. King Virtue, who is my family, I know he is. He tried to put me on to some of his white classics when we were younger, and I just wasn't having it. But yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But you gave a great definition of versatility, and let's see what the people are talking about.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, but
when you
go
think
ahead.
about versatility, some artists who can sing, they can harmonize, they can do a little bit more. And
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't take away from those who don't do it, but just being able to show those different aspects of like creativity and artistry is important as an MC.
Right,
Some people can really move a crowd. That's important. And Kim has been known to do that. Some
right.
people have been known to go up there a cappella, start rapping, have a whole crowd rap with them. That's a thing. Oh my God, he out here. Oh my God, here we got comments. All right, I'm trying to stay focused. But we got Sean was she was the blueprint for female rapper success. She was definitely one of those. I mean, we could always speak towards MC Light. We could also speak towards Queen Latifah and people like that who did come before her, who were very successful in music and in otherwise.
Right, right.
Um, then King Virtue is just misnaming a lot of people. I'm not repeating none of this. The views of King Virtue do not reflect the views of the framework. Um, Prop came through with the comment, don't let Jay fool you. I think he's speaking of So Soon. He said
Yeah, I was
he's
gonna
well
say you talking
versed
about
in
Jay
picking
Z or
boogers.
so soon.
I think he's speaking about So Soon. Then we got some tens. We got some actual scores. So people like, I don't care what y'all talking
After
about.
all that,
I don't care what y'all talk about. Let's get to these numbers. So we got some points in there, and we're gonna take note of all these scores. We're not adding them up. We are gonna close out the live scoring because we have to sign off. This has been an amazing episode. We appreciate everybody who's been in the comments. Y'all are wild. Um, Let us know, like, comment on YouTube, subscribe, share, check out our other content. We're trying to hit at least 100 views on every video, and we at least of our short form content and our live. So please, if you haven't checked some of it out, check it out, comment, let us know if we got it right. Let us know if you agree. Let us know if the framework is doing our thing. Let us know if you got some suggestions. You know, we got Hepzibah in the comments who is going to let us know off rip. As soon as we make a mistake, she's gonna be like, no, that is not it. And we're gonna be like, so what is it then?
Right. Hey, listen, we are a team of two. I said this earlier, right? So until we start to put more content on our IG regularly, I'd say, tune in, make sure you're following Framework Friday on IG. But right now, the place to follow what we're doing is on YouTube, because we're putting out content faster than we can even cut it up and put it on IG to say we're putting it out. So again, if you've been amongst the 100 people who have watched pretty much all of our short form videos, we're at I want to say 5 right now. Thank you. We got another one coming out on Friday, so be on the lookout for that. Then we might drop another 1 or 2 next week. I don't even
Yo, SoSoon, I got a question. Is that video that's dropping Friday, is it ready?
No. But it's an hour away from being ready.
Okay, because I was about to ask the audience, do they want to see that video now? Because that one is I'm looking forward to when that one dropped. I'm gonna watch it back because we had a good time with that one. So my mind is really saying, let us know if y'all like the content. If y'all want more, we can drop more. We got some videos in the tub. We have 2 more videos that are being prepared.
And we have a really good system in place, which is why we're dropping so much. It's been so hard to focus on social and keeping y'all in tune, because we've just been putting the content out. But whether it's people who don't know us from a hole in the wall and or y'all, just know we appreciate it. Continue to fuck with us, because we're just getting started. And yeah, I'm just excited. So thank y'all. Thank everybody for tuning in live. Thank
y'all. Check out the shirt. Merchandise.
Stop teasing them until we're ready to make an announcement of when we're going to sling them things.
You're right. Also, I want to say in about 35 minutes, Let's Chop It Up is going to be on YouTube. Please follow those brothers, Damon and the team. They're great. We might be on the show sometime soon, so you got to watch. You got to support. If you want to be a part of the framework, let us know. Hit us up directly, and you could come and be on the show. Speak live. King Virtue, you had a lot of stuff to say. Come on the show, talk.
Right.
Sean Goggins, you had a lot of stuff to say. Emmanuel, you had amazing comments. Dawn, Donald, Bo, Prop, just let us know. Come in, join this barbershop, join this discussion. And we, as always, we here to bring reason and logic. You bring the topic, we'll bring the framework. All right, and I'm gonna put on our exit song.
You don't say, you just do it.
Nah, I'm gonna let them know. I was gonna say we're gonna put on the outro song, but who produced it? See, you didn't even let me get to that because you cut me off. That's why I was speaking it up. Because remember, his comments are his own. We gotta let him live on that. But I wanted to say our outro song produced by producer King Virtue. So if you have a show and you're looking for some music or some beats, hit him up, right?
Right.
Is that okay? Do I get a pass for that?
No, you did. I'm just so in tune with you. I said it before you said it. That's all.
Look at it. This is what we do. But yo, thank you for another great show. Next week we will be revealing the full list and scores. So be ready for that conversation. Be ready for a few people to tell us when we got it right or got it wrong, and we're gonna have that conversation. All of y'all get ready to join in. We inviting all of y'all to come and join this barbershop. We want to hear what y'all got to say now, because that's the time when y'all get to speak y'all piece for real, for real. This is the framework signing off.